All is quiet. $1,156.55. Bolton Mink General Municipal Engineering, $4,434.50. Bolton and Mink 2020 Downtown Improvements, $770.50 for a grand total of $45,826.55. Claims and registers and financials, we have $334,934.46. We have license and permits tonight, one of them, and that is SRMR LLC doing business as the Crooked Rail, 1010 Second Street. They're requesting a new renewal of a Class C liquor license with outdoor service area, catering permit, and Sunday sales privilege. Police and fire inspections have been completed and are on file at City Hall. Need a motion to approve these consent agenda items?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion about the consent agenda items? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to City Administrator's report.
All right, a couple things tonight. First and foremost is an update on the budget, and we're a little bit behind, so we're probably going to look at some dates next week to have a budget work session, maybe Thursday or Friday sometime. So Susie and or I will send out an email with the budget packet and some information, and seeing what day or time might work best. We'll try and work around schedules and pickleball the best we can. So we'll get in touch with everybody on that. And then kind of connected to the budget is a little bit of a legislative update. Hopefully everybody is signed up for League of Cities and gets the legislative link every, I think, Friday, kind of what's been going on through the week. I get really nervous every Friday when it's time to open that email to see what's going on, but there has been, as you've probably seen, a lot of conversation around tax reform. And that large topic of that has been local option sales tax, and the concept of taking that from basically the local option sales tax that everybody voted on and putting it to a straight 7-cent sales tax statewide, and the state distributing those funds. There's a lot of talk about what could be going, what it could be, what it couldn't be, but if it would go that direction, we would surely lose out on funds just based on Perry being in Dallas County and the amount of local option that's generated in Dallas County and redistributed within the county. But then also, there's probably a pretty good chance that they will use this as an opportunity to what is it? A fraction of a cent to go to the I will, which is the outdoor recreation fund. So that's probably going to take a cut off of the top, and then they'll distribute funds out to cities and counties from the remaining funds. So great that would be funded, but really not great for Perry because we probably stand to lose a pretty good chunk. So part of the budget discussion, Susie and I have been talking about how to kind of show what the impact could be of losing a portion or all of our local option sales tax, just as kind of a exercise in how that could affect our debt service levy for the big one. But then also looking at all of those capital type projects that we do with local option sales tax that would either have to come out of the general fund or be levied for out of debt service or a capital project levy. So we're nervously watching that. We're hoping to get some information out so that council, but we can also ask the public maybe to contact their legislators, because this is a really important thing for Perry. I feel like a lot of the success that we've had in the last 10, 15 years has been because of our local option sales tax and what that allowed, the type of projects that allows us to do. So in a community like ours that does not have as high of a taxable valuation as other communities, it's even more important for us to try and protect that revenue stream. So again, more to come on that. Legislative Link is a great resource to keep up to date on everything that the Iowa League of Cities is tracking as far as bills and then what their impacts could be on cities. So any questions on that? Don't shoot the messenger, but
Scary.
yeah, we're not excited, but and with the whole tax reform discussion, I'm sure property taxes are still up for consideration or conversation. So that's always something that's a great tax cut for the state that doesn't affect their budget, but affects our budget. So we're keeping on a close eye on all the conversations around that as well.
Any questions for Sven? Thanks for the good news. Mayor, council comments. Lots going on, with the legislature, as Sven indicated, it certainly deserves watching, and lots of stuff going on in general with our legislators that deserve some of our attention. But we had a good turnout for Burr. I'm sure, I see Lindsay's on. I'm sure she'll be talking about Burr and how things went. But I think that's really all I have. Council?
Is there a feeling on which way the legislature's leaning on that?
I know the governor and the majority of the legislature are very keen on some sort of tax reform, especially with their income tax goals. So I think there will be something. It's just a matter of what and how much it'll affect us. So.
Other council comments? Hearing none, I guess we'll move on. Open forum. Again, if speakers that are present at least are asked to step up to the microphone and state their name and address for the record. Individuals speaking will be given up to 3 minutes to address council, and those that are zooming in can also, give their name and address and state their name and have 3 minutes. Open forum. Lindsay, did you want to update us on Burr or anything else going on with the chamber?
Sure, I can do that. You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes, so Lindsay Pasuti, 1119 Warford, representing the Perry Chamber of Commerce, 1124 Willis. We had a great Burr over the weekend. Thanks to everyone that was a part of that. Lots and lots of volunteer hours, community support, big and small, all across the board. So we had a total of, I'm not sure how this happened, exactly 600 registered riders. and then plus 62 support the rides. And so out on the road, we had from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Counter out there at 876. We know that riders tend to leave whenever they want to, so well over 900, I'm sure, out on the road. Actually, I had a chance to ride the fire truck and see how things were going early in the morning and then again in the afternoon. So just really great to see so many people out and about and enjoying decent weather, I would say. Not fantastic, but no issues really that I've heard of, other than a close call, but all in all, very good for the community. Lots of activity and business downtown. And lots of great comments from riders as well. And then we'll be getting ready for the chocolate walk this coming Saturday. So 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have 15 businesses participating for that, and the Winter Farmers Market at the library as well.
Sounds good. Thank you. Open forum. Anybody else have anything for open forum tonight for topics that are on our agenda or not on our agenda? Now's your chance to bring up anything.
Yep, you're on the agenda, so you're next.
Next, if there's nothing else for open forum, you're next. It doesn't look like there is, so you're up next. Tonight, once again, we are honored to have a special presentation from Perry Rotary Club recognizing the Civil Servant of the Year Award presentation for 2021. You're on.
Okay, I'm Mayor Andover from the board. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. My name is Dirk Kavanaugh and I'm representing the Perry Rotary Club. So for many years, the Perry Rotary Club has honored a deserving individual as the Civil Servant of the Year. The award is presented at Perry City Council meetings to honor that individual. This year we have multiple individuals, and I don't know if that's the first time it's happened or not, but it has since I've been involved. So the motto of Rotary is service above self. And these four young men certainly demonstrate that character. The Perry Rotary Club has selected Perry fireman Joel Eitman, Andy Modlin, Israel Baltazar, and Bobby Harlan as its Civil Servant of the Year for 2021. They were selected over two other very worthy nominees, healthcare worker Dee Christensen, who provides excellent in-person care for several area individuals, and Deputy Director Misty Von Baron of the Perry Public Library, who is working to complete her college degree in library science while still performing excellent full-time work for the library. These firemen, along with Assistant Chief Brian Eitman, have been honored by Governor Kim Reynolds and the Sullivan Brothers Award for Valor at the state capitol. They have received accolades nationally for their heroism. Their honors were in recognition of their bravery in saving a man's life from a burning house in Perry in the spring of 2020. The man would have perished if not for the actions in battling through intense fire, smoke, and heat to reach him. He was pulled to safety and was transported to a local hospital. 3 dogs could not be saved and died in the fire, and the house was a total loss. In nominating these 4 individuals, Assistant Chief Fire Chief Brian Eitman stated, "I'm not nominating these men because I believe that they are the definition of Civil Servant of the Year. We pulled a man who would have certainly died if not for the direct actions of these men." So with that, we'd like to present this.
Thank you.
Congratulations to each of you on this recognition that you each certainly deserve, and not just for this event that earned you this great recognition, but for your service every day throughout the year to our community, especially in these times when it's my understanding that so many volunteer fire departments are having trouble maintaining enough volunteers to maintain their departments. So thank you. Okay. Old business. First item on old business, approval of pay application number 8 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements. Pay application number 8 in the amount of $755,750.15 to Woodruff Construction for the construction of the wastewater treatment facility improvements. To date, total payments requested by the contractor are 16.9% of the total amount of work to be completed under the contract. All documents have been reviewed and signed by the engineer and are recommended for approval. Need a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve approval of pay application number 8 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements. I'll second that.
Discussion?
So I actually had to go back and look at the minutes because they have done a lot. With as cold as it's been, we were just talking about it the other morning, it was, I don't know, was it 4 below? They were there at 7:30 in the morning outside working in 4 below. So most of the work has been focused on building footings, getting the slabs put in place, which is a fair amount of effort, trying to keep all that warm and not freezing and protecting the ground. So just a kind of a quick run through of the rooms they've gotten done. It's a pre-treatment room, nutrient basin, some of the lift stations, the clarifier bases, the reaeration basin slabs, operations building, a wasp storage tank, a dump station, retaining walls, and several areas of site piping to tie all of those together since the last pay request. So that's very active. They've done a really good job and stay right at it. So it's amazing what they can get accomplished when materials show up to the site. So definitely a plus. So that's great.
Any questions or further discussion? Thank you.
Every day, I can't believe it.
Thanks, Matt.
But it's so freaking cold.
If not, if there's no further discussion or questions or anything, call the roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. Resolution authorizing the renewal of the federal migratory bird depredation permit, MB 30468B. Federal depredation permit authorizes the capture or permits the right to kill birds to reduce the damage caused by said birds or to protect the interest of others, such as human health and safety. A depredation permit is intended to provide short-term relief for bird damage until a long-term, non-lethal measure can be implemented to eliminate or significantly reduce the damages. The city of Perry applied several years back for such a permit and has renewed every year since to help mitigate the turkey vulture nuisance as a non-lethal measure has not been successful to date. This resolution would allow for the renewal application to be signed by the city administrator, Sven Peterson, and for the submission on the city's behalf. Need a motion, please?
I move that we authorize the renewal of the federal migratory bird depredation.
And I'll second that.
Discussion? Chief, do you have any report how we're doing? Are we over the last number of years that we've gotten this, are we making any progress, or how are things going? Can you kind of highlight us?
And also maybe a quick explanation for Councilmember Height about what is going on right now.
Oh, okay. If you aren't aware, so several years ago, I don't know how many years ago we started having a turkey vulture problem here in town, largely congregating around the area of the water tower and a couple of trees in that area. They would roost there overnight, and as they roosted there and grew in numbers, their feces accumulated and caused kind of a health hazard. The water department put up bird spikes on the tower, which helped somewhat. I think those are kind of getting worn down. It sounds like they're even looking at maybe replacing those.
Yeah, when I did the report, Matt, the water superintendent, said that they tried to get them last year, but when they were here to do service on the water tower, they were back ordered for foreseeable future. So it is definitely on the list for this year to get done, he said. So fingers crossed they have them in stock.
So we tried several things to try to deter the birds and scare them away from roosting in those areas. And one of the things that we found through our research was that if you hang some of the dead birds in the area, in the roosting areas, that will deter them from coming back in that area. So we've applied for this permit. I don't, 7 years,
I
maybe
was gonna say
6.
I was gonna say 6.
Okay, it's been several years. So what we do every spring is we go out and harvest a couple of birds outside the city limits, and then bring those birds and hang them in the trees in the areas that we're having problems.
That's not what.
It's helping. Yeah, definitely with the bird spikes and with the when we get the tree or the birds hung in those trees, it deters them. We're kind of spreading them out though. They've moved to different areas of town. Well, and part of the thing was 2 of the biggest trees that they used to roost in have since come down. Because one of the homeowners has taken one down, and one of the city has taken another one down, and at the area of 7th and Warford, which really helped too. But it's kind of spread them out a little bit over the past couple of years. So we've had to kind of move it around. They need big, heavy limbs to roost in, and they don't like a lot of foliage, so they tend to. They're either in dead trees, which we don't have a lot of in town, but they like the big sycamore trees. So
We really can notice a difference when there's an effigy in the tree, they're not across the street from us.
yeah, there's about 2 or 3 trees, right? Or at least 2 or 3 large sycamores across. the street.
Are they mating in this area? Or?
It's just they're migratory. So every March, April, they're coming back here. They do roost in this area. The couple of places where I usually harvest them is a place where a couple of them roost, and I know they come back to nest every year. They like this area because it's not really populated. So
Loud booms.
what's that?
Loud booms. Have you ever tried? Usually birds are very.
I think we did try that. We tried.
Yeah, we've tried hanging owls, hanging fake turkey vultures upside, we've tried
Yeah.
spinners. We tried like hawk calls, like a lot of hawk calls down in the Des Moines area. They scare away like the pigeons and the sparrows and that kind of thing. But the turkey vultures really don't seem to care. Unless we can get some great horned owls, I think is their biggest.
Their arch nemesis.
I don't know how we get them to roost it in the area. I don't know. So this is what seems to work. I think if we keep working, get John to just take down every sycamore tree in town. But yeah, this seems to work at least temporarily, I guess. We kind of spread them out, and that's what we find. Even if we're spreading them out, we don't have that large concentration. It's just kind of disgusting and foul.
Yep.
And if it's not raining and it's just a hot, humid spring or summer, then it's nasty.
When I lived on the farm, we had chickens, and worse than chickens are ducks. So I know about the foul smell.
Yes.
They bring their dinner.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, thank
Any
you.
other questions?
To be continued, I guess. Thank you. Thanks for the efforts. Okay, next item under new business is approval of polling place agreements
Oh, we
between,
need to vote.
I missed one?
Yep, I just need to vote.
Oh, any other questions before we vote? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to approval of polling place agreements between the Dallas County Commissioner of Elections and the City of Perry. Every 2 years, the Dallas County Commission of Elections presents the City of Perry with agreements to use space in various locations for polling places for primary and general elections, and as required, city, school, and special elections. These agreements would be for the following locations: McCrory Community Building and Perry Public Safety Building, and would be effective for 2 years. For each agreement, the Dallas County Commissioner of Elections agrees to pay $200 for the use of the facilities. the Dallas County Commissioner of Elections Office after redistricting, reciprocating, has changed some of their polling places and are only requesting the use of the previously listed buildings. Again, the McCrory Center and the Public Safety Building. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the polling place agreements between Dallas County Commissioner of Elections and the city of Perry.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Not the library.
I believe they're gonna use Mount Olivet Church. It's the conversation I had with the auditor. So.
Any further discussion? That'll confuse people because they, having worked most of the elections the last 10 years or so, people get confused where they go anyway. So it's just going to add some confusion. So we'll have to work on Facebook and prairienews.com and other, and our announcements to get the word out as the elections approach.
Yep. And we do have voting maps on the city website that we'll update as well.
Yeah.
So.
Any further discussion?
And the SOS website, you can punch in your address and it tells you exactly what ward you're in and where to go. It's pretty.
Yes.
Unfortunately, not everybody avails themselves of all those options. But
Yes,
we'll try and get the word out as best we can. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Thank you. Next item under new business, resolution setting public hearing date on fiscal year 2023 proposed maximum property tax dollars. Beginning with fiscal year 2021 budget, cities are or have been required to hold a public hearing on the proposed maximum property tax dollars to certify for levy. This resolution sets the public hearing on the proposed maximum property tax dollars for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023 at 6 p.m. on February 22nd, 2022 on the second floor meeting room of the Town Craft Building, 1122 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. Need a motion, please?
I move that we set the public hearing date on fiscal year 2023. Proposed maximum property tax dollars.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion on setting the public hearing?
This is a new step in the past few years that the state of Iowa has imposed. We now have two public hearings for budgets. And so we have a public hearing, set the public hearing, hold the public hearing, then set the public hearing for the budget and hold the public hearing. So, and they can't be done concurrently. They have to be done separately. What it does is it looks at what your valuation is and compares apples to apples, like it takes your current year valuation and levy, and then it compares it to your new valuation and the current year's levy, and then it compares it to what your proposed levy would be. Right now, our current levy for, this is for everything but debt service. They don't include debt service on this, which is a whole other matter, because I think it doesn't make sense, because I think it's not very transparent, I don't think, but I didn't make this up either. So without debt service, our levy is 1574 per thousand valuation. And what we're proposing, and this is before we don't have everything fine tuned yet. But it would be like 1679. But that includes, basically it's all insurance related. The property and casualty insurance is gonna go up about 10%. And that's because of the derecho and other natural disasters nationwide. Our health insurance premiums are gonna go up around 8%. And then what we are still working on and trying to nail down is our work comp premiums. We've had a couple really large claims, and this more than doubled our work comp premiums, more than double, but we're trying to work with IMWCA to see if they can use some of their reserves to help us out, so we don't have to face such a huge increase. So that being said, this is the max levy hearing. So we are proposing an 11% increase, but that's what it is. It's the maximum. We can't publish less than what we have. It's like, but we can always decrease it. So
This
we
is
still have some work
worst
to do.
case scenario levy rate, which I think every year we've published higher and we've come down significantly. So like Susie said, 2 weeks ago, probably 3, a number of weeks ago, we had a Zoom meeting with IMWCA just to kind of talk through everything. And I came out of that meeting pretty hopeful because they said, honestly, just the fact that you are taking the time to have a call with us and have this conversation shows us that you guys are committed to this issue and are willing to work with IMWCA. I guess a lot of communities are just, whatever, and don't pay any attention to it, but I know Josh is on the call, and he's done a phenomenal job with the safety committee over the past, for many years it's been around, and there's a renewed effort around that as well. So definitely kind of a wake-up call a little bit for us that, just simple things can lead to big claims. And that's kind of what happened with these couple of claims that Susie mentioned. So just along with trying to work with IMWCA on our rate, also trying to kind of reinstill and reinvigorate that culture of awareness around safety within our employees.
Okay, any further discussion about setting the public hearing? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Okay, next item under new business. Resolution approving a professional service agreement with Bolton and Mink. Bolton and Mink has submitted a professional service agreement to develop a cemetery management system for Violet Hill Cemetery. This agreement would provide services required in the development of the management system and include project scope, review of relative information to the project, data acquisition and migration, data collection, application, and training. The professional service agreement would be for a cost not to exceed $9,540 without prior approval. Need a motion, please?
I move that we approve the professional services agreement with Bolton County with the cemetery.
I'll second.
Discussion.
What's this all about?
Is this Liz or John?
It's kind of abstract. This has been something, it's basically the GIS program for the cemetery. So it puts the cemetery on a map, a virtual map, rather than a very old map that's hard to read at City Hall. And also makes a lot of the files electronic. Basically it is a management system for the cemetery. This started out at 17,000, about 17,000, but we were able to find where the cemetery was already GIS back in 2010, I believe it was. So it substantially helped the cost. I think it's a project that's kind of been started several times and just never fully carried through. I think it's going to be really helpful, not just for staff at the cemetery, but also for residents and people looking at the information. There'll be a public side to it. So if you're searching for a loved one, you can go on and you can find where they're at. There'll be pictures of the headstones. And also if you're wanting to buy a burial space close to a loved one, it'll show the available burial spaces in the area. It'll also help for planning for the cemetery because it's going to show how many available spaces are actually open for burial. So it'll help for expansion. That's probably in the near, 5 years maybe?
5 to 10.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years. They'll help with that kind of planning process to kind of see what's going on. It also helps with trends. I know there's been a lot of talk about different what do you call them?
Columbariums.
Columbariums, because as cremations become more popular, maybe we don't need as many full burial sites, maybe columbariums would be the way. So basically just digitalizing the cemetery. I'm super excited about it because it'll go through and we're going to do verification of all the records. So we have a master list on kind of an Excel sheet that they're working on. Then we're going to do the check because we're going to go out and take pictures and map every single space of the cemetery. Then I'm going to cross-reference that with the card catalog along with the burial book and the deed book for all the purchases. So I'm kind of excited to go through and make sure everything is in balance, my control.
You don't know, that's an insanely large amount of work.
Yeah, it is. an
Yeah.
insane amount.
This is really taking the bull by the horn, so thank you, Liz, for that. I just thought that deserved a slow clap.
Yeah, so,
Huge job.
It is, it
Yeah.
really is.
and I think, not even from, I call myself a paper pusher sometimes, not even from the paper pusher standpoint of making sure that it's all categorized, but I think it'll really help Richie. And it'll help us find errors that are out there too, because your data is only as good as the person inputting it, and everybody's, subject to clerical error. So, and I know a long time ago, spaces got off in one section. So as you bury, then you get closer to the road, and then the roadway's grown over the years and trees have been planted and the roots go into other places. So I think there's a lot of spaces out there that are marked as being able to be buried in. And when they call City Hall and me and Susie or whoever's looking at it says, oh, it's open, but we always have to call Richie to verify, is it really open? Can we sell it? Are you able to do a burial on there? So that'll help eliminate that. And I just think make everything easier for everybody, including Richie. So he has his work cut out for him too, because he's going to definitely be involved with going through and helping mark what should be and what shouldn't be sold for the new stuff. So I think it'll be nice to have the project finished. Like I said, it's kind of started and fizzled and started and fizzled, so it'll be nice to.
And I think, like Liz said, a big part of this is making the whole sales and record keeping portion more efficient for staff time. But we get a lot of calls at City Hall, and I'm sure Richie spends a lot of his time showing people where sections are and where their loved ones are buried, things like that. So hopefully people will be able to get on and just be able to find the information online. Because where was that? Was it last summer? There's like a 2-month conversation with somebody from California that was looking for their
and there's a lot of
uncle's
sites, yeah.
space or something like that. So
And there's
having
sites
this
out
would
there
be-
like Grave Finder where a volunteer at one point went through the cemetery and would take a picture, and then somebody sees that there's a headstone there with their mother, grandfather, who's ever date and death date there. But it can be very misleading because people put headstones up far before they're gone. And then if they get cremated and the cremains go to a family member and then they don't get buried, it causes kind of mass confusion. So to be able to have that information out there and say, no, this is what our record indicates, because we track all the burial reports, I just think, be a lot cleaner.
By the time you get done with that, you're gonna be dead tired.
Maybe I'll find my space while I'm doing it.
All right, sounds like it's something that needed and would just make life easier for people trying to find their loved one and for us trying to manage the cemetery. And just something really needed, it sounds like.
I'm excited.
And you're gonna see it through the project.
That is my
through
plan,
instead of
yes.
partway through.
Yes.
This time we're gonna finish it, not have the start and stops, okay? Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
All right, thanks. Next item, resolution accepting the award of a wastewater and drinking water treatment financial assistance program by Iowa Finance Authority. With passage of this resolution, it would approve the acceptance of grant contract 22-13 for the award of a wastewater and drinking water treatment financial assistance program, WTFAP. The Iowa Finance Authority on January 28, 2022 awarded the city $500,000 to assist the wastewater treatment project. This resolution would accept the award and grant contract between Iowa Finance Authority and the city, as well as authorizing the mayor to sign on behalf of the city. Need a motion, please?
I move we approve the resolution accepting the award of the wastewater and drinking water treatment financial assistance program.
A second.
Discussion?
As the mayor said, this is to assist for the financing of the wastewater treatment plant. So very good to have a little bit extra money going towards the project.
Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Shot,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Wallen,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Next item, resolution approving a grant application to the Water Infrastructure Fund, WIF, for a watershed protection project. Iowa Finance Authority is accepting applications for funding to support watershed projects such as the city's project involving the restoration and stream bank stabilization along Frog Creek with recreational and educational features that are fully detailed in the city's State Revolving Fund, SRP, sponsored project funding application. The grant request would be for $500,000 with a local match of $100,000 from the city stormwater fund. This resolution would approve the application and authorize the city mayor to submit such application. Motion, please.
I move that we approve the grant application to the Water Infrastructure Fund for all the watershed.
I'll second.
Is this, because I might have a conflict here. Is this just in the city limits or are we talking all of Frog Creek?
So Frog Creek from 141 to Park Street, as much as we can in that corridor. So I did have Liz attach our state revolving loan sponsored project application. There will be a quiz on the acronyms after the council meeting, so everybody has to stick around for that. So I did attach that just for some previous context that these projects had already been kind of identified in that plan. And with that sponsored project funding, the state did award us $1.6 million to do those projects. So these two, this application and the next application are both either, this is alternative funding for Frog Creek in the fund that we were notified about from the state that, hey, we know what projects you have, here's funding you should apply for. So then the other one would be supplemental funding to that sponsored project money that we have. So we're just trying to find extra dollars out there. Of course, there's a lot of money right now for stormwater quality projects. And I think the state likes Perry right now. So we're getting strongly encouraged to apply for these two grants. So hopefully that comes out well for us. So we're just trying to stretch that 1.6, and if these grant applications are approved or get funded, we would already stretch that 1.6 almost to 2.5. So some really great opportunity to stretch our dollars and make some more projects happen through the community. But the Frog Creek project would be kind of stream bank restoration and stabilization. So cleaning up all the creek bank in Frog Creek, like through Patee Park up into Perkins Park, and making sure that that can handle stormwater efficiently. So.
You caught my interest when you say that the state of Iowa particularly likes Perry right now. Why?
Well, I would like to say because I'm so charming, but I
Well,
think
You could
a lot
tell
of
us
it
the
has to
truth.
most of it, that credit goes to Bolton and Mink in their relationship with the folks at the state that kind of are the puppeteers of this money. So I know they know them pretty well, and I don't know, Matt, if you want to give them.
I would say probably the easiest thing to say is there were some initial concepts that were brought to the state regarding using money from Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship that were outside of where they would normally use funding. They liked the concept of it. They funded some initial projects. It funded a study. The study kind of took that concept and expanded it, primarily looking at creation of wetlands for both water quality, handling water volume, and easing the impact to our storm sewer system within the city. So it was a combined effort of looking at urban runoff combined with specifically as we look at Iowa Street, around 380 acres of rural runoff that come through the city system as well that impacts our system. So kind of looking at concepts to put together that will benefit both the ag community and the urban community, which is something pretty unique.
And I think they probably like that aspect of these projects, especially coming off of, you know, the Des Moines Waterworks lawsuit, kind of that rural versus urban relationship. These are both projects that are very highly agricultural, stormwater, meeting urban areas. So kind of that melding of the two, I think, is attractive to.
But I would also say the proactive approach from city staff, looking at the concepts and being willing to try them. That's a big deal with the state. When they look at those kind of funds and they say, you know, this is a really good use of our dollars. It's something that they can take and duplicate somewhere else after we've got it implemented. We know it works. It's something that Perry's going to lead the way on. So,
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion of this grant application? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Next item under new business, resolution approving an urban conservation grant application. The Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship is accepting applications for cost share funding to support conservation projects in urban areas such as the city's Iowa Street Stormwater Wetland Project. As defined in the approved city's state revolving fund, SRP, remember, we're going to have a quiz on acronyms, sponsored project funding application. The project will develop storm wetlands to treat runoff from approximately 300 total acres. The project also includes recreational and educational components better detailed within the city's state revolving fund, SRP, sponsored project funding application. The grant request would be for $250,000 with the local match of $60,000 from the city stormwater fund and $250,000 from the Iowa SRF sponsored project fund. This resolution would approve the application and authorize the city administrator to submit such application. Motion, please.
I move that we approve urban conservation grant.
Second.
Discussion?
Are F and G, they feel intimately related on this, what
Yeah,
we just
so-
talked about?
Yeah, so this is one of the projects that's within that app, the SRF sponsored projects. Within that application, we had to, what did we do, about 5 or 6? We identified 5 or 6 or 7 different projects that we could do with that $1.6 million. So this was one of those projects within that application that we're now trying to go out and target some additional funds to get the project done.
to add to that, something that might help with that a little bit. Part of that study that was funded by the IDOLs, we looked, I think it's actually almost, I want to say 7 different project sites that are varying types of projects in regards to water quality, size, all those kind of pieces. So really what we did was kind of give them a playbook of, you know, there's this large one, there's some smaller ones, there's some, you know, stream bank restoration, kind of a, I guess I'll call it a tackle box of, you know, let's find some that apply to these funds or maybe apply to these funds. So it gave us options.
Where is this located? It says City's Iowa Street.
So right at 141 26th Street, where it usually floods quite often.
Where 18th Street used to flood over there.
Yeah, farther east at the 26th Street intersection, right in front of Super 8.
Okay.
But again, that whole system is connected, so 26th Street backs up, that
Yeah.
18th flows too, so that has to, so, and then also, wherever you went, Matt has really figured out that 26th in Iowa, and then the intake right behind, well, it'd be between, on Willis Avenue, between 28th and 26th Street, there's an intake there, and that usually floods in that ditch along Willis, sometimes over Willis. Those two actually compete hydraulically because they both come to the same spot to head north to Beaver Creek. So as 18th Street and 26th Street gain water and flood, Willis floods, and they will actually bubble each other up back and forth. And it's just a matter of, you know, having to have the time for that to flow through. So definitely lots going on out in that end of town. And the idea of this is to slow some of that water down and divert it around Stokely's Plaza, hopefully, to give us a little bit more time of when that stormwater hits the pipe. So that's kind of the goal of that project. So again, balancing stormwater quality and the management of quantity in a high rain event, which hopefully someday we get rain again. That'd be nice, but,
There's been
So-
numerous years it's been really flooded.
yeah, so hopefully this whole process alleviates some of the issues along at 18th Street, all the way along Iowa, and then over on to Willis Avenue as well. So they're all interconnected hydraulically. So it's just kind of a little game of chess of trying to take pressure off of one place and let the other place flow. And so that's what we have engineers to figure out.
Okay, any other discussion about that? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Height,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item, the new business, resolution ordering bids, approving plans, specifications, and form of contract and notice to bidder. Fixing amount of bidder's check and ordering and publishing notice for a public hearing on the plans, specification, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Perry 2020 downtown street and utility improvements. Bolton and Mink Inc. of Ames has completed the 2020 downtown street utility improvements project manual with approval from the EDA and Iowa DOT for the city to begin the public bidding process. Bolton and Mink anticipates the work on the project to commence upon approval of the contract by the city council and upon written notice to proceed with a substantial completion date on or before July 1, 2023. A public hearing will be set for 6 p.m. on March 7th, 2022 on the second floor meeting room of the Town Craft Building located at 1122 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. Both the public notice and the advertisement for bids will be published in accordance with the law. Motion, please.
I move. Excuse me, this is a long one. I move to approve the resolution ordering bids, approving plans, specifications, and form of contract and notice to bidder, fixing the amount of bidders' checks. Check and ordering publishing notice for a public hearing on the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the Perry 2020 downtown street and utility improvements.
A second.
Discussion?
So this project is about 2 years in the making. But this is the reconstruction project of Bateman, then 3rd and 4th Street. So, and then part of Rawson as well. But definitely, I would say a few of Matt's gray hairs have been due to this project and just getting through the design phase of what the federal EDA wants versus what state DOT wants, and helping everybody agree on the project. So it's taken a little bit longer than anticipated, but I think that's fine. It sounds like for right now, from what Matt told me, bids have kind of settled out a little bit with construction projects as far as underground and paving. So hopefully we're hitting a good bid time right now of folks wanting to fill up their schedule for this year and into next year. So definitely exciting project. Take care of some utility issues up there and help get some new infrastructure.
Okay, any further discussion? On setting this public hearing? If not, call the roll, please.
Height,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Thank you. Having no other business before us tonight, we stand adjourned at 6:55 PM. Thank you, everybody, for your time and interest.